على سيد الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد وأصحاب سيدنا ومولانا محمد وبارك وسلم وصل عليه الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا سيدي يا حبيب الله. We continue from our topic inshallah, where we mentioned lengthy hopes, having a long and बहुत दूर उम्मीदें रखना जिंदगी में, life में. We discussed the information that Imam al-Ghazali rahimahullah mentions in his Ihya al-Ulumuddin, and he says that there are two main causes of having lengthy hopes. Two main causes. The first one, he says jahalat, ignorance. The second one, he says hubbud dunya. He says the love of the world. And we discussed briefly about the first one. And he then gives us some advice. How does one remove the love of the dunya from their heart? And he begins and he says that the love of the dunya, this is something that has gripped. The love of the dunya, hubbud dunya, is a bimari, is a disease that has not just gripped the modern man. He says it has also gripped the ancient man. He says those that have lived on this world, on this dunya, on this land, way before our time, they also suffered from this bimari. We are suffering from this bimari now, and those that are yet to come will also suffer from this bimari. He says that this is a problem and a sickness that isn't just khas to a particular time. We went through the pandemic, COVID-19, but people, generations before, they never faced this particular one. They had another particular one. But he says this bimari, this illness of the love of the dunya has always been. And he says it will always will be. And then he says, how does one rid himself of this bimari? What is the cure to hubbud dunya? And he says there is one cure to the love of the world. He says that is iman bil akhirah. He says one shifa, or one medicine, one dawa to hubbud dunya, and that is iman bil akhirah. Iman bil akhirah, and what everything is connected to the akhirah. If one has solid, true yaqeen about it, he will rid himself of hubbud dunya. And this is what we need to work on. How do we, believing in the akhirah, it's a tenet of faith. We have to believe in the akhirah. If somebody says, I believe in Allah and I don't believe in the last day, that individual is not a Muslim anymore. Just like we have to believe in Allah, it is a requirement of our iman that we have to believe in the akhirah as well. Okay, Maliki Yawmiddin. Yawmiddin is the day of judgment, akhirah. Okay, and everything linked to the akhirah. In the akhirah, the punishment of the akhirah. In the akhirah, the reward of the akhirah. In the akhirah, the questioning of the akhirah. The standing and the qiyam of the akhirah. The jawab, answering of the akhirah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The recompense of the akhirah. When all the zulm that we did in this world, the recompense, if it did not take place in this world, it will take place in the akhirah. If somebody puts to mind all of these things regarding the akhirah, and he prioritizes the akhirah, the love of the dunya will fade away from his heart. The love of the dunya will finish from his heart. And he explains this as well. Imam Ghazali, he says, if you love two things, अगर आपकी मोहब्बत दो चीजों में तकसीम हो रही है, and there's one thing that you love far more than the other, और एक चीज दूसरी से बहुत ज़्यादा शदीद होगा, बहुत ज़्यादा intense, the love is far more intense in the first thing, that intensity of love for the first thing will cause the love of the second thing to fade away. So he says, love the akhirah. If you have love of the dunya, he says, concentrate your love on the love of the akhirah. Put to mind the standing before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Put to mind the recompense of the akhirah. Put to mind the punishment of the akhirah. Put to mind the hellfire of the akhirah. Put to mind the reward of the akhirah. Put to mind the Jannatul Firdaus of the akhirah. He says, put to mind the akhirah. Iman bil akhirah is the one medicine to rid ourselves from the love of the dunya. And remind ourselves repeatedly that what we worry about, what we day and night struggle for, the dunya, what causes us to become tense, what causes us to become depressed, causes us to have tension in our minds and our hearts, all dunya, it's all temporary, just like the dunya is temporary. It's all temporary, just like the dunya is temporary. The biggest sadama that someone can, if I was to go around the hall now and ask everybody one by one, what is the greatest calamity? What is the greatest sadama for you? Many of us will say losing loved ones. Because maal mein nuksan hona, wo phir bhi wapas aa sakta hai. You can have loss in your maal, but it can still come back. You can still earn more from other places. But when you lose a loved one, do they come back? No. जब कोई अहबाब या महबूबीन में से कोई इस दुनिया से चले जाए ना, वो वापस नहीं आते. And that's why this sadama hits harder. This sadama, this calamity, it hits harder. But what happens slowly, Allah grants you sabr, you start to move on, and then that memory of them starts to fade away. Imam Ghazali, he says, just like the love of the dunya is temporary, the dunya is temporary as well. And just like the akhirah and the rewards, the punishments and everything linked to the akhirah, it's linked to eternity. Know that your dwelling in the Jannah will be eternity. If you are to be punished in the akhirah, that will be forever as well. That will be for eternity as well. So Imam Ghazali, he's teaching us a lesson here. He's teaching us the dua, the medicine to rid the love of the dunya from one's heart. And then he says, the practical advice, and I'll finish up on this inshallah. He says, look at your extremities. He says, aap apne haathon ko dekhen. He says, aap apne paon ko dekhen. Look at your limbs. Look at your appearance, your shakal, your surat. And then he says, do awra tafakkur. That just like you have this surat, you have this face, you have these hands, you have these feet that you walk upon, you have these hands that you use for your day-to-day jobs and your mashghuliyat. He says there were those before you who had the same hands and feet. There were those before you who had far more beautiful faces than you have. But those same people right now are food for the worms in the ground. Those same people right now, their bones are rotting away in their graves. He says, no. That when the worm approaches you and you are in your grave, the worm has a decision to make. He says, uske liye ek faisla hoga. He will have a decision to make. And you know what this decision is? He says the worm will decide, should I go and eat the right eye or should I go and eat the left eye? He says that Ida has a decision to make. That means that should tell us we're absolutely insignificant. We walk this earth like we're something. We walk this earth like we're the king of the walk. No, we are absolutely insignificant. It makes no difference to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala whether we are alive or dead. It makes no difference. He is mumayyitum bila makhafa. Imam Tahawi in Aqidah Tahawi, he says, he describes Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sifat. He says he's mumayyitum bila makhafatin. He says he causes death without any fear. What this means, that it is the same to Allah whether we breathe or whether we don't breathe. It is absolutely, makes no difference to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala whether we are alive or dead. It makes no difference to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala whether we bow down in ruku or whether we bow down in sujood. It makes absolutely no difference to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are absolutely insignificant. So why do we think that we are here forever? Why do we walk the walk like we were something big? We are absolutely nothing. We are absolutely insignificant. And the Imam is teaching us this. He says, look at your hands, look at your feet. These same bones that you touch, these same bones that you look after and you hold, these same bones are going to be rotting soon. And it's definitely going to happen. Nobody's going to be here forever. Nobody stays on this land forever. when Israfil alayhi salam will blow the trumpet, everything that is alive at that moment, due to that blast of the trumpet, will taste death. And it said that only 4 prominent angels will remain: Israfil alayhi salam, Mikail alayhi salam, Jibreel alayhi salam, and Malakul Maut himself. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will command Malakul Maut, the angel of death, give death to the other 3. And then Malakul Maut will give death to Israfil alayhi salam. He'll give death to Mikail alayhi salam, and then Jibreel alayhi salam. And then Allah will give death to Malakul Maut himself. And then at that point, when there will be none from the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alive, at that point Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask the question. Who is he asking the question to? There is nobody in creation. Just His Zat alone, in existence at that moment. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will ask the question, Limanil mulkul yawm? Whose kingdom is it today? Nobody to answer the question. Limanil mulkul yawm? Oh, the creation, the kings, the emperors who lived this life thinking that they were going to be here forever. The creation, those who walked the path thinking that they were going to be here forever, thinking that there was something. At that point when Allah will ask the question, not one will be able to answer the question, and Allah Himself answers the question. Allah continues, Limanil mulkul yawm, in the Quran He says, at that point, Lillahil wahidil qahhar. Today the kingdom is Allah's, the one, the majestic. Today it's Allah's kingdom. Limanil mulkul yawm. On that day it will be Allah's kingdom. It was Allah's kingdom, and it will always be just Allah's kingdom.
Subhanallah.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to do tayyari for our maut. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to open our eyes to the love of the dunya and the deception of the dunya. Wa akhiru dawaya alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. I think Qibla Shaykh wants to